Hello, hello. I am so glad you're here. Today is the second session of Dreaming and Doing. So if you haven't watched the first session, Dreaming and Doing, part one, it is about dreaming big, your big audacious goals, your big dreams, the ability to dream so huge. So if you haven't watched that, pause this and go watch that and then come back. This video kind of builds upon that first video on dreaming and doing. So the first video is more about your dreams. The second video, today's video, is going to be about doing. Now that you've had a chance to explore your thoughts and your desires and your wants and your dreams and your bucket list, you have to make a decision. What are you going to choose for your goal? All right, let's hop in. Okay. Impossible goals, dreaming and doing, part two. Okay, so hopefully you did your homework. If you have not, maybe take a minute and jot down some of your top goals, your 25 possible impossible goals. What do you want most in the world? So if you haven't grabbed that piece of paper, if not, here's I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to jot down a few of the goals and possible dreams that you might have, your bucket list items. So go ahead and grab that, and we'll start in just a second. Okay, hopefully you have your list of big impossible goals, your bucket list, whatever you came up with. Hopefully you have 25. If not, that's okay. We'll just start with what we have, and you can add to your list as life continues. So today we are talking about taking that homework assignment, that list of 25 possible goals, and we're going to pick one and commit to that goal. Whoops. So choosing your goal. So take that list that you have, and I want you to pick the one that you desire the most, the one that is screaming your name. Oh, this is the one that I want. I want this so bad. My life would be complete if I have this complete. If you don't know what that is, maybe pick the one that scares you the most, the one that's frightening, that you think is impossible, that I could never do that. Pick that one. Maybe that's the one you need to do. If you're still unsure, here's a couple tricks that you can use. So the first trick is, okay, if I could have any of these goals, if somebody would wave a magic wand and one goal would appear right now, if one wish was granted by the genie, what would you pick? The other mind trick is let someone else decide. Give your list, or if you're stuck on maybe 2 or 3 different items, different wishes, different goals, different dreams. If you've narrowed it down to your top 2 or your top 3, give those couple to someone else to decide. Give it to your spouse to decide. Give it to your kid to decide. Give it to your parents to decide, and let them decide. As soon as you give the power of decision to someone else, the goal that you really want will jump out at you. And you'll be like, oh, no, wait, I want number 2. That's the one I want. So choosing your goal will help you become emotionally resilient. Having that decision made helps you move forward, helps you decide, oh, okay, well, I already know the direction I'm going. So as you come across challenges and struggles as you pursue this goal, you're like, oh, but I've made the decision. This is who I'm going to be. Positive goal framing. So what this means is we want to say what we want to do, not what we don't want. We want to say it in a positive way. So instead of saying, I want to stop overeating, we want to put some positive phrasing into it. I want to eat 3 meals a day effortlessly. Whatever the no is, the negative is, you want to find a way to restate it so that it's positive. Not what you don't want, but what you do want. Timeline and measurement. You need to make your goal measurable. Add a time frame to it. Make it quantifiable. I want to lose X pounds by Y date. I want to make X sales by Y date. I want to earn this amount of money by this date. The bigger your goal, the longer your time frame should be. So you don't want to say, I want to lose a few pounds. You want to be very specific and add a timeline to it so that you can see how you're measuring against that goal. So whereas you can say, I want to lose a few pounds could be, I lost 2 pounds, but that's not really what your desire is. That's not really what you're going for. So by saying, I want to lose 10 pounds by the end of the year, I want to lose 10 pounds in 90 days. That gives you a time frame, it's quantifiable, it's something to measure against. As you can track your progress, you'll be able to look at your goal and be like, okay, I am doing this much. I've made it this far. This is how it's progressing. How am I doing against my goal? Am I close to achieving it? Do I need to adjust my behavior? Do I need to add things, take away things to make this goal by my date? What I like to suggest is focusing on one big goal at a time. Just focus on that one goal. Work on that one thing that you want to accomplish. And you will find that as you work on this one specific goal, this focused goal, this huge thing that you didn't think you could do, you will have skills that you didn't realize you would have. And you can take those skills and apply it to your next goal. One of the reasons why New Year's resolutions fail is we expect too much of ourselves. We want to redo our whole lives for that year, and we have 5 goals that we want to accomplish, and it's just too much all at once. So if you narrow your focus, if you dial in to that one goal, that one thing that you want to accomplish and work on, your brain has a focus. It has something that it is striving to, instead of being like, oh my gosh, I have 5 things I have to pay attention to, plus I have work, plus I have kids, plus I have family, plus I have, and we give up. So focusing in on that one goal and limiting our distractions, limiting our are things that we're working on will actually help you accomplish that goal faster. And the skills that you will develop, it depends on your goal, right? But skills that you could develop are self-control, focus, discipline, time management, measurement, tracking, and all of these things, all of these skills can be applied to your next goal. And it becomes faster. The more that you accomplish your goals, the faster your skills develop, the more you can put into your next goal. What you would like to do is try to avoid dependency on others. You want to make it something that's in your control, what you can do, what you're in charge of, what you can control, the circumstances that you can change. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't ask for support in your goal, in your dreams, in your desires. And one way to do that is, how can I use my goal to make my spouse, my family better? Layla Hermosi gives this example of, she had someone that she was working with, and they did big events, and they were gone from their home a couple weeks at a time. And that was very hard on the family. And the thought was, how can I use my goal to make my spouse, my family better? So instead of just flying out and leaving the family behind for those 2 weeks, this person decided to invite their spouse, invite their family along for the event. And the spouse actually created a side event for the spouses of those that were attending the event. So she created her own event where the moms or the spouses of the people attending the event could bring their kids, and they could have family time while their spouse, significant other, was at this conference. And then at nighttime, they would be united as a full family. So they wouldn't be separated for multiple weeks. And it was a great experience for all parties. And they both got a lot from combining the goals to make their family better. What you want to do is build a relationship with your goal. Think about your goal daily. Journal about it. Think about it. And use your visualization. Imagine it. Write your feelings down about it. Just constantly be thinking about your goal in the back of your mind. Something that may come up for you is, well, I don't believe it. It's not me. And so what you can do is be like, well, I'm not a skinny person yet. I'm not a successful entrepreneur yet. Or you can change how you phrase it to be, I'm working on being a skinny person. I'm working on being a successful entrepreneur. Whatever your goal is and whatever is important to you. But the more that you have it in your mind, the more that you're thinking about it and conscious of it and tracking how you're doing with it, the more that you will progress through your goal. Do you remember your maybe junior high or high school science class, or maybe even elementary school, where you learned about the scientific method? So the scientific method is a very simple, straightforward scientific approach to a question, something that you don't know. And basically, it is you ask a question, you do some research, you make a hypothesis, which is basically your best guess. You test that hypothesis and you review the results. What worked well, what didn't work well. And then repeat what worked and adjust what didn't work. And you repeat that until you get the results that you want. So here's an example of a goal that I have. I would like to travel the US in an RV for a summer. I've never stayed in an RV. I've never driven an RV. I have no clue what I'm doing. We have this great thing called Google. We can research how to do that. Do I want a van life or do I want an RV? So what I'm doing right now is doing that research to try and figure out, okay, what do I need to know? What don't I know? What things do I need to do? So I am going to make a hypothesis on the steps that I need to take. One of those steps was, okay, I'm going to go to an RV dealer and I'm going to see how big they are. So one of my biggest fears is to drive an RV. I am not very comfortable with driving a big rig, a big RV unit, and that just scares me to death. So that's why I was kind of leaning towards a van. Well, a van isn't much bigger than a car. So that would alleviate some of my stress. So those are my thoughts going into it. So I went to an RV store and talked to the salespeople. I looked at the options, and now I'm doing some more research. I'm going to see how to dive in more, looking at YouTube videos on the lines, the gray tank, and how to use the generator and how to do hookups and how to drive it. What do I need to be aware of? So continuing that research, making a hypothesis and acting on my best guess. And as I test and adjust, as I learn more, then I can adjust my hypothesis and see what I need to do next to move that goal forward. What is a strategic byproduct? So we talked about the skills that you would get as you work on one goal at a time. The skills of getting better at that goal and how it will help progress you through your next goal. These are called strategic byproducts. These are benefits gained during the process. So you gain maybe the skill of research, figuring out what I need to do. I've gained knowledge of how to hook up the RV. I've made connections at the RV sales center. I can reach out if I have specific questions. These are strategic byproducts. Now, they don't all lend themselves to your next goal, but the skill of making connections, talking to people, research, how to find what I'm looking for, how to find answers I don't know. Those are skills that definitely would apply to my next goal. So as I'm working on my one goal at a time, I'm building these skills. I'm building these byproducts that of growth that can be applied to my next situation. Innovation and creativity. Embrace not knowing the how. You're not going to know everything. That's why it's a hypothesis. You get to fail. You get to make wrong assumptions. You get to try something and maybe it works the first time, maybe it doesn't. But you get to have that experience of doing it until you get the results that you want. Be creative. Be innovative. Do things that you wouldn't have thought to do before. Get out of your comfort zone and try something. Create those connections. Who do I know that could help me with this question? What could I do to find out this answer? Failing is part of the process. Don't be afraid to fail. Without that failure, it's hard to get that growth. If you have ever experienced failure, which we all have, then you know that sometimes failing, and the bigger you fail, the more that you learn about the situation or about yourself. And if your monkey brain tells you, no, I'm going to die, I can't go talk to somebody new, I don't know, I just can't, nope, I can't do it. You just tell that monkey brain, hey, I'm going to use my adult brain. I'm going to make a decision. It will not kill me. It will be okay. So I love this video. This is Bryce Dallas Howard. And it's a story about her audition. So let me go ahead and play this for you.
When I was 16 years old, it's the age that you have to be in order to legally walk the floors in Vegas. And my grandmother was playing the slot machine. She was losing, yet she was still playing. And she said to me, do you know how many auditions the average working actor needs to go on typically before booking a job? I guessed 1 in 10. She said to me, no, it's 64. But when I started auditioning, I just started counting. So 1 audition, 2 auditions, and it was the 48th audition that I got that job. My agent then, who is still my agent today, she later asked me, because it was way over a year, she said, how did you not quit? And I told her that story with my grandmother. And she went, oh, yeah, that's true. I wish more artists knew that. I wish more creative people understood that, because then they wouldn't be so hard on themselves. And when you're hard on yourself, unreasonably so, things are going to start kind of falling apart.
I love that. Setting the right expectation for yourself and not giving up. Realizing that, yes, it's going to take time. This is something I've never done before. This is something that I'm not familiar with. I'm not very good at yet. So I'm giving myself the opportunity to fail. I'm giving myself chance after chance after chance to do it and get it right and try again, and to do it until I get the result that I want.
When I was 16 years
Starting where you are, just start. Begin with your current situation. Use the scientific method to find your path. It is challenging, it is hard, but it's also rewarding. And one of the things that you can do is give yourself a reward. Whatever you decide the criteria is. So if you want to make certain steps in a week, say, I'm going to make 3 connections this week, then you reward yourself with a Netflix night or going to a movie or something that contributes to your goal that doesn't take away from it. So if you're doing a goal on weight loss, you wouldn't want to reward yourself with dessert. You want to do something that complements your goal and doesn't take away from what you're trying to do. You can also do like a chore chart, like you've done with your kids maybe, or you had growing up. Put a star on the days that you accomplish the things that you had set forth to do. And then have a larger reward when you're completing your goal. So reward yourself. Okay, I am going to purchase a day at the spa when I complete this goal. I am going to take a trip when I accomplish this goal. When I make $100,000, I am going to buy a watch. I am going to reward myself some way so that there's a payoff, something to look forward to, something that is a reward for all of the failure, for all of the work, for all of the things that are difficult. And maybe having that reward system helps keep you on that path. Here are some practical steps. Write down a question. So something that you don't know how to do to accomplish your goal. So if you want to grow your business to $100,000 a year, what things don't you know? Why haven't you achieved that already? Why don't you have that yet? If you want to lose 25 pounds, what don't you have yet that you would need to know? Do you need to look at what kind of diet you want to do? Then take that question and conduct research. What do you need to know in order to move forward? There's YouTube, there's Google, there's your friends and family, there's people that have accomplished this goal before you that you can learn from. Then formulate a hypothesis, a guess on how you're going to move forward, on how you're going to achieve this goal. Then, through that hypothesis, experiment. Try the first thing. If it works, great. What do I need to improve about it to do it again? If it doesn't work, what do I need to try again? Give it 48 times. Give it a large amount of tries and retries and testing and retesting and trying again before say this just doesn't work. If somebody's done it before, you can do it too. And then you repeat this process until you get the result that you want. So your homework, create your hypothesis, make an educated guess, develop your first experiment plan, outline the steps to test it, implement and adjust as necessary, and be open to opportunities. As you start going through this, if you're open to an idea or open to conversations, open to doing the research, listening to podcasts, listening to YouTube videos, listening to people that have done it before, what do you hear in their experience that would be helpful to you? And you do that again and again until you get to your result. This isn't, I did it 5 times, I didn't get my wish, and so I am done. This is, I'm going to try over and over and over until I get the result that I want. And in order to push past all of those failures, all of those things that might stop you, you have to have a good reason why. Why am I going to put myself through this? I'm just going to go back to the cave and live in the cave and be okay and just not worry about it. What is driving you forward? Why do you want to do this? Why is it important to you? And maybe keep those things written down somewhere so that when it does get tough, when you're on your 46th audition and you want to give up, just be like, I'm doing this because I want to play with my kids. I'm doing this because I want freedom and time. I want to not worry about getting laid off. I want to have control of my life. Whatever your specific why is. dealing with conflicts in goals. Again, pick the one that you want the most. What is the goal that aligns with what you want, with your highest desire, with your most fantastic life? What do you want? Goal framing. Again, if you want to stop overeating, frame it positively. I want to eat 3 meals a day effortlessly. I want to visualize myself fitting into that swimsuit and being on the beach on my vacation in 3 months. I want to see myself making $100,000 in my business and having time freedom and financial freedom and being able to be at home with my kids instead of being at a corporate job. Look into your future and visualize that goal as it's completed. Visualize yourself living that result. Handling multiple desires. I know, narrowing it down to one goal, it's hard. But if you do 5 things at once, you probably won't accomplish anything. So pick your most favorite goal. Pick the goal that is scary, that you're like, ooh, I don't know about that one. Or pick the one that is just calling your name. Yep, that's the one I want. That's who I want to be. Prioritize that goal. And then take those skills and apply it to your future goals. And as you develop those skills, you will accomplish your goals faster and faster and faster as you use those skills to overcome the failures, to do the research, to try over and over again, to be dedicated, to do the hard things when you don't want to put that remote down and not do a binge night, but instead work on your goal. Build that emotional relationship with your goal. Reflect on your feelings about that goal. You will have a plethora of feelings as you go through a big goal. You will have doubt, excitement, fear, and enthusiasm. You will have the full spectrum of emotions. As you think through these emotions, just reflect back on your goal and your why. Why am I doing this? Why am I feeling this way? You know, I heard this saying, and I don't know where it's from, but public speaking is one of the biggest fears that people have. And this person said, the emotions, the things that you feel in your body, the butterflies, the sweating, the hot, the not being able to control your voice, the fluctuation of your voice, the just, oh my gosh, the fear that you feel is the same as excitement. So you can take that fear and turn it around and be like, yeah, I'm excited to get on this stage. I'm excited to talk in front of these people. The butterflies I feel, the sweaty palms that I have, the voice fluctuations, this is all because I'm excited. Think about going down a roller coaster. You are excited to go down that roller coaster, or you're fearful of going down that roller coaster. But those are the same physical vibrations that you have. So it's all about the thought that you have. How am I going to spin this so that I get the thought to move me forward? I am excited to step onto this stage and share what I have worked for. And then it becomes easier to take that step onto the stage and tell yourself, this is excitement. This isn't fear. Measure your progress. Make sure that you are progressing on your goals. And in order to do that, you have to have clear metrics. You have to have that X and Y. In 90 days, I'm going to lose 25 pounds. In 90 days, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. In 90 days, I'm going to have 5 new customers. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where intention goes, energy flows. So, what you pay attention to, what you are tracking, what you are working towards, what your brain is focused on, you will improve. The decision helps move you forward. The progress you get and the measuring and the attentiveness to the measuring and reflecting on it, the tracking of your goal and those metrics will help keep you on track, will help you move forward. If you are tracking your food, if you have a food diary and you're writing down every single thing that you eat, for breakfast, I had 2 eggs and 2 pieces of bacon. For lunch, I had a turkey sandwich, but instead of bread, I used a wrap. If you are writing down every single thing that you eat, I had a bag of chips, I had a handful of peanuts. If you write down every single thing that you eat, as you go and reach for that piece of cake, you're like, oh, I'm going to have to write this down. I'm going to have to write down I had cake. And so that gives your brain a second to think like, oh, do I really want to write down cake? This is not my, I don't know if I want to write that down. So it gives you pause as you track, as your energy is focused on what you're paying attention to, as you're tracking. Addressing your fears. Acknowledge and confront your fears. You will have fears. You have not done this before. You need to have that talk with your monkey brain and your adult brain, be like, okay, monkey brain, I appreciate you telling me that I'm going to die if I don't have this piece of cake. But my adult brain says I don't need to have all those extra calories. I would rather fit in my bathing suit and be on the beach on my vacation. So thank you, but I choose to not eat this piece of cake. Use your fear as a motivator for growth. Change that fear into excitement. I am so excited I get to learn about how an RV works. I'm so excited I get to sit in this big RV and figure out how to drive it. Okay, I'm working on that one. But it's exciting because I get to do my goal, right? I get to experience new places that I haven't been before. That's my motivator. I can confront my fear because of what I want to experience. Stay committed. Regularly revisit your goal. Stay motivated by remembering your why. Have an accountability partner. If you need a partner, DM me. If you don't have a food tracker or it's not a food kind of thing, there are all kinds of apps that you can use to track your progress. Whether it's a notepad on your phone and you just jot down, okay, this is what I'm doing. If you put Outlook reminders, utilize what you have at your fingertips to measure and stay committed to your goals. And take progress. So if you're measuring every day, maybe set smaller goals. So in 30 days, I want to make this much progress. In 60 days, I want to be here. In 90 days, then I will be at my goal. Being the person who achieves the goal. Embrace your future self. Visualize and imagine your future self as yourself. So imagine yourself sitting on that beach in your bathing suit after you've lost some of that weight. Be like, yes, I worked for this. I want that. And that helps put that cake back on the shelf. Think of yourself being able to turn your job notification in and be like, I have my business that is going to provide for me and my family. Imagine that day. Imagine whatever your goal is and live in that moment. Align your current actions with your future identity. Would my future self want to have this cake? Or would my future self be like, I have eaten very well today. I'm full of nutritious food. It was effortless. I ate the foods that fed my body. I don't need that cake. How would you act if you have already achieved this goal? What would you do differently? What could you do now that you could see your future self doing? If you can't envision yourself yet in that future state, then look at how someone who's accomplished this goal, how they live. How do they make decisions? What do they do? The power of visualization. So my daughter was in gymnastics and she wanted to be competition level. And what she had to do in order to get that was different than what she was currently doing. So she knew that she wanted to be a future version of herself. She wanted to be the all around gymnast and get that medal. And so she had to start doing things differently. She's like, okay, how would I act if I had already won this medal? Oh, okay. I'm going to increase my practice time. I'm going to increase my coach time. I'm going to feed my body the way it needs to be fed so that it's in top shape. I am going to give up time with friends so that I have more time exercising my skills and practicing because I want to achieve this future success. Starting with small steps. Take small steps, take small bites. Being a solo traveler in an RV, I've made that decision and my small steps were to do some research, visit an RV sales center, commit to that process. What do I need to learn from here? If I take it into small bite-sized pieces, small chunks of how to accomplish this goal in a certain amount of time, as I'm tracking my progress, I can just start with small steps. If I want to exercise more and I am not an exerciser, what do I need to do? Well, I'm not going to start with running 5 miles a day. I might start with putting on some yoga gear, putting on my shoes, taking a walk, going further the next day. If you find yourself being like, I'm just totally at loss, I don't know what to do. Chunk it down into smaller sections and do it for a small amount of time. Okay, today I am just going to get dressed and put my shoes on. I'm going to walk around my house, feel comfortable in these clothes, and that's all I'm going to do. Tomorrow, I'm going to put my clothes on, my shoes on, and I'm going to walk up and down my flights of stairs 5 times. Make small incremental changes until you're comfortable with that, and then move forward. Make small progress every single day. Personal goals and external options. Your goal may seem small to others, but it's big for you. Your going on a 5-mile run may be huge for you, whereas your neighbor or your colleague, they do a 5-mile run every single day. You're like, I don't know how they do that. But for you, it's big. Don't compare yourselves or your goals to someone else. Focus on what's important to you. Again, this isn't someone else's vision, purpose, or goal. This is your vision, your purpose, your goal. And you've decided on that goal. You've decided that this is important to you. Find people who will support your goal. Hopefully, your family will support you. Hopefully, your friends support you. Find a community that is doing the same kind of goal and join that community. Anticipating obstacles. You will have obstacles. Identify what potential obstacles you might come across. Some examples of this might be other people's opinion. I don't have time. I need a certification. I don't know how to do that. I don't know what to do. I have no idea. Those are obstacles. Once you've identified what some of those obstacles can be, you can address how to tackle those. Create strategies for those obstacles. Turn those obstacles into strategies. Each strategy becomes a steps towards your goal. Common obstacles would be negativity, laziness, fear, shame. Plan on how to deal with each of those things. So if you take your goal and you come up with your hypothesis, then come up with an obstacle for each of the things that you want to try. So an obstacle for me with the RV is, well, do I want an RV or do I want a van? I don't know which to choose. So the obstacle is not knowing what to do. My plan for how to deal with this is to do some research, to talk to a sales rep, to talk to people who have owned an RV, to watch YouTube videos. These are steps that I'm taking to overcome this obstacle. Dealing with negativity. Recognize and counteract negative thoughts. Maintain positive internal dialogue. Turn it into a positive. What can I do better? What can I do that's positive instead of, I can't do it, I don't know. I can figure this out. I got this. I can ask questions. There's Google. Change that negativity into something positive, something that will propel you to move forward. Overcoming laziness. Understand that your primitive brain is going to try and say, oh, that Netflix series looks so good. I just want to binge that. I'm just going to go take a nap. I don't need to do this right now. I'll do it tomorrow. Create a plan to stay motivated. Face your fears. Accept that fear is part of the process. Develop a plan to take action despite the fear. Do it anyway. Move forward. Yep, I'm going to turn that fear into excitement. We're going to do it anyway. I'm going to step into it. Manage your shame. Recognize shame and its impact. Develop resilience and self-compassion. Give yourself grace. You've never done this before. Who cares what everybody says? Who cares what somebody you've never met before thinks about it? What do you think about it? Give yourself grace, compassion, and perseverance. You can do it. Other people as obstacles. Don't rely on others for support. Rely on yourself, find internal motivation and external allies. Hopefully you have a strong support system and those around you that will support you. And hopefully you're able to take this goal and be like, this is how my goal can benefit you, right? So, okay, husband, I need you to watch the kids so that I can work out for an hour. And this will benefit you because I'll have more energy. I'll feel better. We'll have more time for other things later. Whatever you can think of how this will benefit the people in your lives. How can they help you? And what can you do to benefit them? Handling urges. Manage urges that distract from your goal. There's an urge jar. If you haven't heard of an urge jar, it's a simple concept. It's you have a jar and you have all of these marbles or paper clips or whatever object that you want. Every time that you feel an urge, okay, I'm going to go watch that Netflix show. I'm going to scroll on TikTok. I'm going to have a candy bar. You have the choice to listen to that monkey brain or that adult brain and be like, okay, I have this choice. What am I going to do? If you are able to use that adult brain and be like, I've already decided I'm not going to do this, I am going to take a marble and put it in my urge jar. Every time I overcome my urge to do something other than what I'm supposed to do, other than what my goal is, I am going to move a marble, a penny, a paper clip into this jar. And then you'll see the jar filling up. You'll see that you're making progress. Plus, and it's an instant reward. You can add something to your jar. It's a dopamine hit, a positive one. Avoid procrastination. Recognize and counteract procrastination. Stay focused on your immediate action. Not tomorrow, not later, not the next day. I've planned this to do during this time frame. I am going to work on this at this time. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to stare at a blank wall. I'm going to put my phone in the other room. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. I'm committed to myself. I'm going to trust myself. I want this goal. Busy work versus result-oriented work. Focus on producing results. We can be busy all day long and think that we are working, but there's a difference between what you're working on that is not progressing your goal and work that is progressing your goal forward. Results, things that are moving the needle on your business, things that are pushing you towards your goal, towards your purpose, towards your decision. Evaluate the things that you're doing during the day and decide, is this effective? Is this helping my goal? Or is this a distraction? Is this busy work? Is this stuff that I don't need to focus on? Planning dialogue with yourself. Develop a positive internal dialogue. Create a pep talk to stay motivated. Like, oh, I'm going to the beach. I'm going to hang out in my bathing suit. I'm going to look good. I'm going to feel good. No, thank you, cake. I'm good. Okay. So your homework is to create your hypothesis for the goal that you decided on. Make your first plan. Write down obstacles and how you're going to overcome them. What are you going to do for this obstacle? And plan your internal dialogue. How are you going to talk to yourself? How are you going to overcome? Do you have your why? Do you need to decide on your why? So hopefully that was helpful in how to deal with your decision. So you've made this goal, you've decided, you have created your hypothesis, you understand that it's going to be difficult, that you were going to be challenged, and you can overcome it. You're going to turn that fear into excitement. You're going to have the results that you want. So if you have any questions, if you want a personal coach, if you need an accountability coach, DM me and I'm happy to help. And good luck with your homework. Don't forget to do it. Don't forget.